Over the past several days, there's been many questions regarding Social Security. Is Donald Trump planning on signing an executive order that will address Social Security shortfall? Will he sign an executive order to give Social Security recipients a larger monthly benefit? These are all the questions that I keep getting. But we're starting to get some updates from the Trump administration as to how this plays out. How are Social Security beneficiaries being looked after? Well, we're going to talk about this in today's video. So, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So, of course, more and more people are asking questions regarding Social Security. And why not? President Trump has been signing many executive orders, from deportation orders, talking about DEI, return to office mandates for federal employees. There's so many things that he has covered just in the first handful of days that he has been the president of the United States for a second term. But here's what you need to know. A lot of people are bringing up questions that what he is doing is actually going to hinder Social Security, not actually make it better and improve it for Social Security beneficiaries. Right now, there's 70 million people that receive a monthly check every single month. And the big question is, how are they going to benefit from what's happening now? Well, I'm going to show you a couple things and explain what's going on. Look at this. It says, Trump's mass deportation plan could drain more than $20 billion a year from Social Security. Now, why? How is this going to work? Well, it's pretty simple. The reason why there's estimates as to how much money we are going to lose in Social Security, pretty much revenue, is because there are potentially more than 1 million people that are going to be deported. And if there's 1 million people deported, how many of those people are actually working? Now, whether they're working legally or illegally doesn't really matter at this point. If they are working under a false name, false Social Security number, it doesn't matter because their employer would still be issuing or pretty much collecting Social Security taxes from them. As a result, they'll never get it when they get to the full retirement age, but they're paying for it now. That's where many say that if Donald Trump decides to deport 1 million people, well, that means there's 1 million less people that are potentially working and contributing to Social Security. But here's the big thing. There's more and more people that are starting to realize that what Donald Trump has said over the past several months, it's starting to make sense now. For instance, one person was talking about, if Donald Trump does all these things and sends people back, requires people to go back to the office, they may quit because maybe they are watching their children or a elderly parent or something like that, right? Or if you are doing these return to office mandates, somebody could possibly be going back to the office, but now they have to leave another part-time job that they were working and were contributing to Social Security. Well, here's the thing. According to reports, Donald Trump is trying to tackle the least complicated tasks first. That's why his first handful of days in office have been pretty simple. The bigger questions are going to be around Social Security, Medicaid, right? Things like that, where there needs to be some type of mass reform, but it's going to take time. It's going to take Congress as well. So just understand, there are things that are going on behind the scenes that will impact Social Security, but it's not going to impact it directly. Now, here's one thing that did impact Social Security. When President Biden signed the bill to raise the Social Security payments for millions of Americans, he signed the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, in fairness to President Biden, or former President Biden, he signed a bill that was supported by both Republicans and Democrats. It wasn't just one party that passed this bill. But here's the big question. Where do we go from here? Well, Remember I just showed you this. Trump's mass deportation plan could drain more than $20 billion a year from Social Security. Well, the reason why I'm showing you that and showing you this one as well is because this one is right here. That one is going to drain about $19.6 billion per year, okay, from Social Security. So former President Biden already did something that's going to cost the Social Security Trust Fund a little bit more money. Okay. Now, here's the other thing, and this is a big problem, and I want to show this to you because not many people realize this is what's happening. Social Security retirees got bad news, and it's all about that 2025 cost of living adjustment. And I said this was going to happen. This is a very high likelihood this was going to happen in this year, that your Social Security cost of living adjustment was going to come out. Keep in mind, it's the third quarter of the previous year. So what is that? August, September, October? July, August, September. That's the third quarter. So those months are the only months that matter as far as the inflation or the CPI reports are concerned, that are going to dictate how much the cost of living adjustment is for this calendar year. Well, the cost of living adjustment is 2.5%. The problem is inflation is already, in the month of January, 2.9%. That's because that's what it was in December. So we are still a few weeks away from the next CPI report, but the concern is it's going to continue to go up, meaning that millions and millions of Americans are actually going to be receiving a little bit less because the cost of living has gone up. So again, major problem. But speaking of another major problem, I want to read this to you. Many are now concerned that Social Security is actually going to receive less money this year than in previous years. But why? Well, it's because of disruptions due to weather-related events. For instance, there's major hurricanes on the East Coast this past year. Well, yeah, businesses shut down. People were pretty much, abandoned their homes, abandoned their cities, and just fled. Some people haven't gone back because they don't have a home to go back to. Okay, this is in Florida, in North Carolina, right, over on the East Coast. And then we saw massive wildfires burning in the state of California. We know, thousands, tens of thousands of structures have been burned. These are not just homes. They're homes, churches, businesses, schools, libraries, right, hotels. And guess what? That means all those people that used to go to those places aren't going there anymore. So what about the workers? Are they still showing up? No. You don't see the school teachers showing up to a burnt down school. You don't see the workers at the library showing up there. You don't see the people that used to work at the mall. No, they're not going because it's burnt down. People that used to work at the coffee shops and the gas stations and the restaurants, they're not going there. So guess what? They're not contributing as much to Social Security. That's a problem. We also got snow in Florida earlier this week and much of the South. This shut down many cities. Many cities were pretty much on lockdown. Stay inside your homes, right? If you can, get the snow off your roof. It could collapse. Yeah, that's what we heard. So guess what? They weren't going to work. It's a problem. So all those people saying that, well, Donald Trump's just trying to support businesses. He is trying to support businesses. He's a businessman. But at the same time, he believes in the trickle-down effect. If you support the business up top, they're going to pay for the employees, and those employees can then contribute to their household. Their household can then go spend money on, daycare and school and clothing and food and all this other stuff, right? It trickles down. That's what he believes, okay? Now, here's the next one. There's still a freeze in the South. People are still scared to go to work, scared to drive on roads because they're too slick, some of which are impassable. So all these events, again, are causing people to stay at home, meaning there's less people working, meaning there's less money being put into Social Security. So again, a problem. I want to show you this though. Look at this. It says Trump signed many executive orders on the first day but none on taxes for tips and overtime. Well, he also didn't sign anything major as far as that's going to directly impact Social Security. But he plans to. Again, Donald Trump is not going to tackle the big issues. Okay? He can't tackle the Social Security and taxes yet. Those are something that are, yes, they're in the works. Again, he's been in the office, been in the Oval Office for what, 3 days, 4 days now. Okay, this is his third full day. Is today. Yeah, for all the changes that have been going on, well, it's quick. So we are going to see, according to multiple lawmakers, what they're calling shock and awe. Now, I want to read you this one last thing. Proposed tax cuts could have huge implications for Social Security. We are about to see many different tax cuts. But here's the thing, and I don't know how this plays out because it's going to come down to Congress. But there will be a Tax Cuts and Jobs Act extension. This will be extended this calendar year. Okay, I have no doubt about it. This will get extended. But what does it look like? What other bills are tied to it? Well, the problem with this Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is that, yes, it is going to lower taxes, lower income taxes. So the IRS is going to receive less money the following year because taxes are likely going to come down. But at the same time, experts believe that we have to bring taxes down because expenses are still too high. There's a very good chance we can't bring the expenses down. We can't cut into inflation, see disinflation. Not bring it from 2.9 down to 2%. Some say that's going to take potentially years. But this is why I bring this up. Some are speculating that the Trump administration and many Americans who voted the Trump administration in, or specifically Donald Trump himself, are speculating that Donald Trump does have a plan. There are multiple lawmakers' aides who have said that there's stuff that they're working on. It's pretty much behind closed doors, but this is where things are different. Previously, in the previous Trump administration, they'd come out and say this is what they're doing, this is how they're going to do it, all this stuff. The same thing with the Biden administration. They do the same thing. But now we're hearing that what they're trying to do is trying to pass things, get proposals, get bills, get support before they bring it to the American people. Because by doing so, this is going to give Democrats less time to reject it, less time to think about it and come up with ways to, pretty much sue the administration, right, through legal, channels, right, block things from going down. But again, I bring all this to your attention because we've only seen the first few days of Donald Trump being in office. And right now, there's a lot of changes. So trying to keep up with these changes and really understand how this is going to impact Social Security and other, major, benefits like Medicare, Medicaid, right? Food stamps. That's what we're looking at. So again, every single day I come on here, try to figure out what's going on, what is being proposed, what Donald Trump just did, how the economy is reacting, things like that. We're seeing major changes. But we have to be patient. Again, I don't know what Social Security is going to look like in the next month or in the next 3 months or 6 months or a year. But what I can tell you is every single decision that is made is going to impact Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, housing, and everything in between. So, as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.